let's look at the little triangle that's going on at 205 pounds right now. All right, you got Jon Jones sitting on top as champion. But then you have a very interesting conversation as to who the number one contender is. Should it be Dominick Reyes? Should it be Jan? Now, Błachowicz came out and he said, looks like we have a date. Can't wait to fist you. Jon Jones responds, it's a fight, not a date, and nobody's going to be getting fisted. Now, I understand how dirty that is, but that's a fantastic line by Jon Jones. I do not believe with any part of me that Jon is running his own social media right now, because Jon Jones has all of a sudden become very, very creative in the last few weeks. I mean, Jon Jones is creating heat. He's got heat that would melt microphones. He came after Anthony Smith when Anthony Smith was a victim of a home invasion. Like, there is nothing that Jon Jones won't touch on right now. And in all fairness, if Jon's doing it, Jon deserves a level of credit for just steering right into all of the problems. But if Jon's not doing it, whoever he got to do it is speaking in a voice that is representing Jon in a very good manner. I mean, it's not a date, it's a fight. That may sound simple. That's a good line. Now, here's what we do need to break down, okay? The one missing ingredient for Jon Jones, and it has been missing for a meaningful period of time, and he has become a victim of his own success. It's not fair, but it is a reality, is it's very hard to have interest in a Jon Jones fight because we all know how it's going to end up. So it's very tough to get that right opponent in there with him. That's where Adesanya was able to do so well and get so much interest. That's where Jon moving up and taking on Stipe. All of a sudden, I mean, it's very difficult to find anyone. It's been very difficult for a period of time to find anybody who could captivate ahead of time. Now, I'm not saying you work backwards and go, what about that great fight with Gustafsson? And what about Thiago Santos sure went close with him? And Anthony Smith was a decision away from leaving with his back. Yeah, those were all hindsight. I'm talking about leading into the fight. I'm talking about getting that energy. And Jon, as a great fighter and a great champion, does deserve to be in some of those big fights, but if he doesn't have the right guy in the passenger seat, he's not going to get there. The reason I'm digressing on this is because Dominick Reyes does fit that bill. Dominick Reyes, without question, has shown us he can beat Jon Jones. Now, I understand that Jon could beat him too, and did. Dominick Reyes proved he can beat Jon Jones. If Błachowicz got the job, you're going to have less excitement. You're going to have less anticipation. Błachowicz has proved one thing. He is a damn good fighter. But you're talking about a whole nother level to captivate the masses. I mean, Błachowicz is a stud from a small country in Europe, and not a lot of people think about Polish fighters. He is changing that. Doing a wonderful job, and the fact that he's even in the conversation. He's going to be in there for a world championship. It might be in there against Jones. It might be in there against Reyes. But what's very important for Jan Błachowicz to understand and be very aggressive right now with the marketing is that if he does not get the job, okay, Jon Jones then fights Reyes by default. If Reyes beats Jon Jones, Błachowicz cannot rest thinking, okay, great, I'll just go in there and fight Reyes. Wrong. If Reyes beats Jones, they go to a trilogy without question. It would be the biggest light heavyweight fight of all time if Reyes goes out and beats Jones and they split one apiece. Which means Błachowicz is going to be looking for something to do. It means before fresh blood gets inserted into that division, should the scenario play out that way, it's going to be a year. In a best case scenario until he gets in, it is super important that he understand what is at risk right now. It's not just an ability to fight Jon. It's not just an ability to fight for a world championship. It's an ability to get an opportunity to be in there with anybody who's got a strap for a year if he doesn't get it right now. I don't think he's done the world's greatest job of getting out. I'm not positive that he understands the situation that he's in, which is this is not going to come down to wins or losses or whoever Jon Jones points the finger at. It's not. It's going to come down to who has the mandate of the masses, and that is going to come down from one thing, which is marketing. The only good news for Jan is that Reyes isn't out there understanding this concept much more than anybody else. Reyes feels, in my opinion, Reyes thinks he has an ace up his sleeve, which is he knows what the office wants and the office wants him. That's a good little card to be able to play, but it's not one that you get to choose to play. You need them to stay on board. Right now, I think he's in a good spot. Now, Jan is tweeting out thinking he's in a good spot, which means maybe old Chael is the one that doesn't quite have this thing pieced together. But I am correct in this aspect. Whoever has the mandate, whoever has the interest, whoever's getting the most headlines, these are quantifiable numbers, guy. Hey, Jan, go send out a tweet about Jon Jones. Hey, Reyes, you send out a tweet. Hey, boys, sit back and see which one got more impressions. These are real simple and quantifiable numbers. They are both in a great position only for one reason. Their counterpart, which is their opponent right now is not Jon Jones. They're acting as though their opponent is Jon Jones. The first one that realizes and starts to point his cannon at his true opponent, which is nothing more than a piece of paper. Who gets the facts? Jan or Reyes? They are fighting each other. And they're taking it from an aspect of, no, I'm going to go fight Jon Jones, and here's my argument to fight Jon Jones. No. You guys are in an interview against each other. The good news for both of you who don't love to go out and do this stuff, but the good news is neither's the guy you're competing with. It's going to take a little bit of effort. It's going to take a little bit of strategy. I feel like Reyes can't open his damn mouth without hitting a home run. I've never seen Reyes do an interview that I didn't find interesting. Not one time. But finding a Dominick Reyes interview is hard to do. Someone needs to sit him down and explain the battle he's in, because this is an unfair battle. When you're dealing with bureaucracy and politics and you've got to win the power of the pen, it is not fair. But there's still rules to it. And there's still strategies that can be invoked. This is not about, guys, this is not about, is Jan and Jon or is Reyes and Jon? Right now, it is Reyes versus Jan. No punches are going to be thrown. They are not going to have a number one contenders match. Jon Jones is not going to go into practice and get hurt because Jon Jones doesn't go to practice. Goes to practice a few times a week, a few weeks before a fight. That's why all of his teammates are so frustrated with him all the time. That's why he can't keep a secret, because his own teammates rat him out. His own teammates stab him in the back and rat him out because they're jealous. It's a very real thing. They see it. This guy's the laziest guy in the room. How come he's in the best shape? This guy shows up less than anybody. How come he never gets beat? It's a very real thing. There's some racehorses out there that do best by relaxing. The fight is not Jones versus Reyes. The fight is not Jones versus Jan. The current fight that is on the table will never take place in the octagon. It will take place in the media. It is happening right now. I'm just not sure they understand they are in a fight. Dominick Reyes, you are fighting right this second against Jan Błachowicz.